break productively in working out an answer to this question? Probably not. Now, I understand you have to recharge your batteries before you can do any serious thinking. So let's do that now. So, ultimately, the goal is to find out what happens to the living standards measure income per person. That's the most difficult, actually. So we'll first do capital per person. So, firstly, when the participation rate is 1, so before the retirement age reform, obviously K and K tilde are the same variable. There's no distinction between them, likewise for 1. So, we know how the graph starts. It's literally identical to what's above for the per worker variables. Now, then the question is what happens day after, what happens in the long run? What's the transition? Remember my advice, start at the end and work backwards. So if you were to start at the end for K tilde, which is participation rate times capital per worker, what would you conclude? Let's call the number that the participation rate goes down to P. It's a slightly use of notation because P is the name of the variable, but let's just call loosely this lower level of participation rate P. So what is K tilde going to end up at in the long run? Well, it's got to end up at the value of P in the long run times the value of K in the long run. The value of P is P, and the value of K in the long run is back to where it started, which was the K star. P is a number between 0 and 1. It's a percentage less than 100%. So that must be below P times K star must be below where we started. So we must reach this point below where we started capital per worker, capital per person in the long run. Make sense? Now, how will you get from here to here? So P changes more or less quickly. For simplicity, we're having it change instantaneously, one day to the next, if you like. K changes slowly. So once P is adjusted, all the movement of K tilde is going to come from the movements of K. And you can see that they're proportional to each other. So we conclude from that K tilde must be falling. So we must be approaching the long run by running down the capital stock per person, by reducing it, letting it depreciate. What about actually the day after, immediately after the reform? Look at the definition. K tilde is K over N. Does either K or N change at all one day to the next? No, the big adjustment is happening in L. So this joins up where it starts. There was a dramatic rise in capital per worker because the number of workers suddenly went down and he left the labour force. Here the population should go down. Okay, so using some of this type of reasoning, see if you can complete the last diagram. Income per person. I've started you off. Can you fill in the rest of it? Try it now. Where's it going to go in the long run? What's the transition from short run to long run? What actually happens immediately after this rise in the retirement age? Imposition of a retirement age. I want to see everyone attempting this question.